back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are looking at the Ecomobile ET, 39 inches long, really super thick deck with no flex. It's got a 648 watt-hour battery in it, so you're going to have really nice range. It's got dual planetary gearing in the back with it can take up to 2,000 watts of power. They predict a 50 kilometer per hour top speed, which is really quite impressive. Stands up by itself, which is a really nice little feature I discovered last night. Underbody, blue LEDs, built-in headlights, built-in tail light, which you can control all from the remote control. It doesn't require a separate charging cable. It all runs off the board's battery, which is a nice touch. Big shout out to all these guys here who are supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. It's going to allow me to get some new toys. I've got some new toys today, which we're going to be playing around with. So look out for that footage and see if you can pick what the new toy is. This model here is currently running Samsung 50E cells, and I know they're not the best in a 12S3P configuration, and I know all the DIYers out there and battery experts will be saying that doesn't work very well for this type of board. When I first got this board and we first test rided it, I was a tiny bit underwhelmed, but again, I'm quite a large, we're out here in nature, there's birds all around us, I'm quite a large rider. I was a little bit underwhelmed with the performance of those 50Es. But also I think it was a combination of the ESC they were running. So I reached out to the person, my contact at Ecomobile, and within 2 days, and I was really impressed with this, within 2 days they had reshipped out a new ESC, and they're calling it the Power ESC. So they now have two ESCs that you can choose for this board. They have the Range ESC, which is a 35 amp Lingy ESC, and they have the 50 amp Lingy ESC, which is going to give you a whole heap more low down torque and power and get you up those hills. And I can tell you right now, I've already tested it, and this thing has a heap more power than the previous ESC. So if you're a big rider like me and you're looking at this board, 100% get the Power ESC. Now don't forget that extra power comes at the expense of the range. So you will have a little bit less range, but you will have all the power you need to get up massive hills. It's really impressive. The other thing they're doing, the other change that they've just announced and are making in about 4 weeks time, is they're changing from the 50E cells to the Samsung 40Ts, which is a much higher amperage and will deliver a much more stable and I guess more enjoyable ride on the ET. That's all the stats on the board. As I said, 39 inches, stiff deck, dual planetary gearing, very waterproof, a lot of fun to ride, a heap of power, underbody neons, 16-inch wide trucks. So super wide trucks here. Let me pick it up and show you. These things are CNC machined, 16 inches. Awesome drop down, as you can see there. It's about a 2-inch drop. I haven't measured it, but it's about that. And as I said, it's 12 kilos, so it's not that heavy considering it's a dual planetary gear board. With the accessories, I didn't mention this in the unbox when we did the live unbox the other day. It actually comes with a couple of nice little extras. So obviously you get the remote control that you would recognize. It comes with your instruction booklet, comes with a really nice little strong T-tool, charger obviously, a little bit of spare hardware, T-tool. It comes with the nose protectors, there's 2 of those there. And one thing which I was really impressed, it comes with your foot straps. So if you want to mount these on and do some real serious, I guess, off-roading or jump, you can mount these on the board. So guys, that's all the accessories, that's about the board. The last thing we need to do now is ride it. I've got my stunt rider with me today. Massive thanks to him coming along. We're going to go and put this to the test now. We're going to, it's a little bit wet on the grass, but we'll try to find some dry patches. Just going to see how it carves, how it feels, test out that acceleration. At the end, we'll talk about the pros and cons of the board and I'll give you my recommendation. All right guys, let's get the board and let's ride. All right guys, we're back at the car. Let's get the board, let's get the cameras, let's put it to its test. Time for a really funny transition. Here we go. Woo! All right, we are off on the test of the Ecomobile ET. Those planetary gearings are just very fun and loud. Now, second point, as I mentioned, this is the Power ESC, the 50 amp with the Samsung 50e cells. I don't have the new 40Ts yet, but we will definitely try to get them and test independently. And I've been riding this now for about 3 days, I think. And so far, it seems to be performing quite well, but I haven't put it through too many stress tests yet. I've done one massive hill test, which it blew my mind, but we haven't done a full stress test, like down to zero, testing the sag and so on. But we will definitely do that in the next video. Today is the first ride and first impressions. This is a very pretty place to ride. Now, something else to comment on are these wheels. When I first saw they were airless, I was a little bit concerned, but they've used a real high density rubber wheel, and now it is still airless, but they've gone for a little bit softer than what you'd expect. But because of that big battery, it doesn't really matter, and the power and the softness or the comfort of the ride is just really nice. And it sticks to the ground like car tires, very similar to those land snail wheels we did recently. But because it's got the skinnier contact patch, it feels more nimble, that you can do really nice like carve and sharp turns. So the wheels in this are very, very complementary to the board setup. Alright guys, now as you can see, we are out here at Sydney Olympic Park. It is beautiful, serene, the birds are chirping, the butterflies are fluttering, I guess you could say, and the EcoMobil ET is screaming. Now, as I mentioned, I love the noise. It's exactly what it's supposed to do, but I want to make sure you've got a clear understanding of the noise this makes. Come down this road now, flat stick. I've got a friend down that end. Sorry, my camera angle's all weird. I've got a friend down there about 50 meters recording. I'm gonna come past him and we'll overlay the footage and the sound so you can get a good understanding of the noise this thing makes. I absolutely love it. But yeah, you need to understand that if you live in an estate or something, it might not be perfect. All right, here we go. Woo, listen to that. As you can see, it really screams. Alright guys, here we go with a speed check. We're in pro mode. We're just going to go, well, we may go full, we may not. We'll just see how fast it is. We've got the app running. It's going to spin you around. We've got the app running on the phone. This thing is very quick, so I may not go full acceleration, to be completely honest with you. Okay, we're sitting on 40 and there's nowhere near full acceleration. There's a little bit of a curve here, as you can see. We'll get around here and we'll give it a bit of a burst. Okay, there's no wobble from those trucks at all. They're very, very, very stable. Very nice. There's a lot of people. Oh, a few bumps. All right, so we have 42.7, which is pretty good. I know it's got a lot more to give. We just need to be mindful of people and stuff on the roads right now. But this thing has got plenty of power, lots of get up and go. I think this will definitely do their advertised 50 kilometers per hour. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of the initial ride of the Ecomobile ET. Very happy with the performance. As I mentioned during the ride, very loud. This is not a quiet skateboard. This is not something you'd buy if you live in an estate or a gated community. You would get asked to leave straight away. This thing screams, but with that scream comes a lot of power with the Power ESC, the 50 amp ESC. Now, as I mentioned, I have tried the Range ESC. For me personally, it wasn't correct. It was just not enough power for me on the hills. Still had very nice smooth, it was actually smoother power, being the 35 amp, but the 50 amp for me is where it's at, just that raw power. Let's talk about the board really quickly. Wheels, absolutely lovely. The airless wheels, probably the nicest airless wheels I've ever ridden. The planetary gearing, really nice, loud, very mechanical. You can feel the gears. And I think, again, this board is not something that you buy if you're not into maintenance. This is not a hub board. It's not something you just ride and ride and ride. You do need to pull this one apart, apply grease, check your bearings every sort of 3-4 months, or every probably 1,000 K at a guess. But if you're willing to do that, if you're mechanically minded, for a smidge under 1,200 bucks, you can get a very cool board. The deck is very, very comfortable. The drop down really locks your feet in, which is what you need. Again, if you're doing a lot of off-road, I would strongly recommend putting on those foot straps to hold you in and really get the performance. The 16-inch wide truck's really nice, good for off-road. It really sort of dampens and evens out the track as you go. Battery, we've been riding for a couple of hours. I didn't track it, but I've only lost 1 bar. How many Ks have we done, Ollie? Done about 15, 20 K, according to my cameraman over there. And I've lost 1 bar of battery, so that's pretty good. So check out their website. As I mentioned, the 40Ts are coming. This will make this board go from good to great. So let's end the video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Again, a big thank you to all my Patreon supporters. Skate safe, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next video.